Welcome guys again to Economics. Now let's start solving example related to marginal rate of substitution. And let's start from example number 1, which we are going to find out the marginal rate of substitution for a typical Cobb-Douglas utility function, which is equal to uxy is equal to x to the power of alpha, y to the power of 1 minus alpha. So now let's find out the marginal rate of substitution for this typical Cobb-Douglas utility function. You know the formula already. If you don't know, so I suggest you to watch the video that I have produced related to the derivation of marginal rate of substitution formula. So the marginal rate of substitution is simply equal to marginal rate of substitution of x for y is simply equal to the change in y divided by the change in x is equal to the negative or minus partial derivative of utility with respect to x divided by the partial utility of utility with respect to y. With this partial derivative of utility with respect to x equal to marginal utility of x, and partial derivative of utility with respect to y is equal to the marginal utility of y. So in order to find out the marginal rate of substitution of this utility function, we need to find out the marginal utility of x and the marginal utility of y. So the marginal utility of x is equal to the partial derivative of uxy with respect to x. And this one is equal to, take the partial derivative of this one with respect to x. It will be equal to alpha multiplied by the x to the power of alpha minus 1 multiplied by y to the power of 1 minus alpha. And it will be, so just leave it here. And now let's find out the marginal utility of y, which is equal to the partial derivative of uxy with respect to y this time. So then take the partial derivative of this utility function with respect to y this time. It will be equal to 1 minus alpha multiplied by x to the power of alpha, y to the power of 1 minus alpha minus 1, then positive 1 with negative 1 will be cancelled out. We will have minus alpha. So now it's easy to find out the marginal rate of substitution. Then the marginal rate of substitution, sorry, let me clean this one. The marginal rate of substitution of x for y will be equal to negative or minus marginal utility of x divided by the marginal utility of y. So then we have the marginal utility of x and the marginal utility of y, which is equal to minus alpha multiplied by x to the power of alpha minus 1 multiplied by y to the power of 1 minus alpha divided by 1 minus alpha x to the power of alpha y to the power of minus alpha y to the power of minus alpha. We can simplify this one. We can write down the marginal rate of substitution of x for y is equal to minus alpha divided by 1 minus alpha multiplied by, we have x to the power of alpha, x to the power of alpha minus 1. We have y to the power of alpha and y to the power of 1 minus alpha. So this one will cancel out with this part. Y to the power of minus alpha, this one will cancel out with this part. Here, it will remain x to the power of minus 1. Here, we will have y to the power of 1. So then, if we move x to the power of minus 1 to the denominator, it will change to the positive level. Then we will have y divided by x. So this is the marginal rate of substitution of x for y for a Cobb-Douglas utility function, or we can write down more as a alpha multiplied by y divided by 1 minus alpha multiplied by x. So this is the marginal rate of substitution of x for y for a Cobb-Douglas utility function. Again, thank you so much for watching. Hope to subscribe my YouTube channel and share this video and hit the like button in order to reach more audience and more students and fellows to grow together. And see you next time.